Alright, hey there guys and welcome back to Mana Down Under. For today's Commander deck idea, we are covering Aurelia, the Exemplar of Justice. This is the brand new Aurelia from Guilds Ravnica, and she's pretty spicy. So like all Commander deck ideas, I just mentioned the Commander, some cards to consider, maybe some theme to build the deck, suggestions, no hardcore deck list here, but I will put anything I mention in the description down below. So the new Aurelia, very different from the OG Aurelia. She's gone from a more frontline combatant to more of a general leading role, it feels like. So 4 mana, 2/5 flyer with Mentor, the new mechanic, which is whenever this creature attacks, put a 1/1 counter on a weaker creature. At the beginning of combat on your turn, choose up to one target creature you control. That creature gets +2/+0. If it's red, it gains trample. If it's white, it gains vigilance. So, how to build the deck. We've built the deck within a Boros theme, the Boros Legion. Not one creature type in particular, because the Boros Legion don't really discriminate. They will include anyone that's able and willing to fight, and we kind of have here. But you totally could go like an angel, warrior, knight, soldier, tribal. You could do any of that if you wanted to. But we've built around her mechanic, her +2/+0, and a little bit of extra buff. Now to get most out of that, we've gone with double strike to make it essentially a 4/0 buff, and extra turns for combat. So we're actually trying to turn +2/+0 into about 8 power worth on the board. That's what we're trying to do. And we've built a deck around to support her. So first up, we'll go through the lieutenants. So including the old school Aurelia, which gives us additional combat, is a great card to have. But here we've got Agrus, who, when he attacks, will buff our red and white creatures depending on who's attacking. The new Tajic offers a good creature with good stats with haste and mentor, and prevents all non-combat damage that will be dealt to our creatures, so they can't burn or ping them out directly. Plus he can gain first strike, which in this deck won't really matter too much. Old school Tajic is really powerful in the deck. He's a 4 mana 2/2 with Indestructible. Battalion, so him and 2 others have to attack. He gets +5/+5 to end a turn. So with our commander, Aurelia, if she targets him for the buff, he becomes a 9/7 pretty much in combat. Indestructible, trample and vigilance. Very scary. Probably have double strike in the deck, you'll see how we do it later on. And in extra combats, he can hit for like 18 essentially on the swing. Double combat, 36. That's what we're trying to do. Iroas here, pretty much menace, and a bit of extra protection with the prevent damage to be dealt to attack creatures. We're going to win the combat, that's what we're trying to do. We are king of combat on the ground. Gisela, double damage, half damage. You've probably seen the commander before, you probably died to the card before too. I have died many times to her, she's here too. Now into the actual Legion. These 3 here aren't lieutenants in the sense of the way the deck is built, but they're not grunts. They do a bit of heavy lifting. Oketra here, she is a 3/6 double striking indestructible for 4 mana, and she can only attack and block for your 3 other creatures. Very easy in this deck, and she can bring creatures on the board too. Purphoros is a favourite of mine. I love his hemorrhaging effect every time a creature enters the battlefield, and his little anthem effect is handy. The Primal Dawn, he's here for his keywords, and that will become apparent later on. We care about all these keywords, and you see why. So flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, really and indestructible, very big beefy creature, very strong in the deck. Now the actual main workhorse of the deck is all these low power but double strike and benefit creatures. So things like MIrran Crusader, a 2/2 with double strike, pro green black, the Prophetic Flamespeaker, a 1/3 with trample and double strike and card advantage, Markov Blademaster, a 1 with double strike and gains counters on hit, but the way double strike works, it's actually 2 hits, gains 2 counters, our commander can buff with trample, get through, really strong creature. The Hound of Griselbrand, a 2/2 with double strike with 4 with Undying, buff it with our commander, it's a 4/2 with double strike, that's scary already. The Pouncer from Hour of Devastation, a 2 mana 1/1 double strike with Eternalize. I love the Skirmisher and the Sunstriker, they're the same card pretty much, ignoring the morph. They're both a 1/1 for 3 mana that can fly and has double strike. Mentoring is a great target, and you'll notice with a lot of creatures with double strike, they often have low power as a trade-off for having double strike, but that makes them a great target for Mentor, so we can put a counter on them and buff them up with our commander. And of course, the new Swiftblade from Guilds Ravnica, a 2 mana 1/1 with double strike, vigilance and trample. Very push stats, and that's what we're trying to do. We're going with really cheap but pushed stat creatures, that's what we're trying to go for. And let's bring in Mentor. So you've got obviously Boros Reckoner, which is an old shout out to Gatecrash, but the new version, Truefire Captain, similar effect but brings Mentor to the table. Then you've got the Boros Challenger and the Legion Warboss, which are more Mentor triggers we could use. The Warboss can bring his own army too, if he's left unchecked. And let's bring some Battalion back, keeping the theme of Boros. Battalion back in the day was a pretty strong mechanic. Anyone who's versed Legion Loyalist would know that. So the Avenger here, Deal 3, gain 3 on Battalion, really good. The Loyalist, first strike trample can't be blocked by tokens. That token part wins a lot of commander games. In the Medic, indestructible board, and if you want you can sack it to counter X spell unless they pay 3, so good effects there in Battalion. And a weird card just to highlight, Darksteel Myr. I've been playing around with it. A 0/1 that's indestructible for 3. It's really easy to mentor and buff up through the game. Could be an option for some people, I'm still testing it, but it's fun. Other things to consider would be like Liege, every colour combination gets one pretty much. Buff your 2 colours and do something else, so in our case, whenever you cast a red spell, hit a player for 3. Whenever you play a white spell, gain 3. Eleshnor. We're a combat deck, of course we're going to have Eleshnor. Buff the entire board, debuff theirs. Sun Titan works great here. Most of those key workhorse creatures are 3 mana or under, so Sun Titan's great value. Then you've got Odric here. You get to choose how blocking is done. Really handy considering we have the better creatures, hopefully in combat. So we can either have no blocks or we can actually try and get rid of some key pieces if we want to. So good option here. Because remember, we'll have a lot of double strike, we can stack up that first strike, kill out big threats we need to. Now here's the other part of the deck we're trying to do. I'm going to call this Odric Effort. Both these cards look for keywords and then apply it to our entire team. But they'll do it at different phases. Odric does it in combat, where Effort does it at the beginning of each player's turn. So Odric looks for First Strike, Death Touch, Double Strike, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Sculpt, Trample, and Vigilance. So if any creature has that, share amongst your team. And then the Effort here, similar, but on each player's upkeep, checks for Flying, Fear, First Strike, Double Strike, Landwalk, Protection, Trample, and Vigilance. Out of these two, Protection, Indestructible, they're the main two we want. And we've got a lot of cards with keywords, as you just saw earlier. So as long as we have one good creature with all these good stats on them, hopefully the whole team will get the buff. So in addition to our commander buff and our good creature base in Boros, you want to have extra combat. That's where the deck's going to get a lot of its value from, especially with our commander. So I've got 9 cards here to go through, but you're not going to run all 9 obviously, but take what you like, what would support your playstyle. I like these first 3 because they're not just a one-off, they've got a secondary cast. World at War, Waves of Aggression, pretty much the same thing, but one with rebound, one with retrace. Seize the Day only untaps one creature, but it has flashback and it's cheaper. So, other options, Savage Beating, some people do prefer that if they want to buff the whole board. Relentless Assault, it's only 4 mana, nice and cheap. By the way, Portal Through Kingdoms, that's why I've put it here. That set is getting expensive, if you want to get into it soon. The new split card, Response and Resurgence, another option there with a bit of variety. Or if you want to have more permanent solutions of extra combat, Combat Celebrant here has Exert, a few extra turns. Aggravated Assault's probably one of the best in the deck, probably run that. And Breath of Fury. Depending on the opponent you're versing, if they can't block or they have no creature base, very greedy card. You have multiple combats and you just keep chaining them together until you run out of creatures. You can try and win the game there if you want to. Now every army needs a good armory. So Stormforge Mystic lets us tutor out our equipment we need. Good equipment to think of, Sword of Animus, buffs our creature, every time it attacks, dig out a basic land. If we attack multiple times a turn, you tutor out multiple lands. So you thin down that deck, ramp up at the same time, get better draws. Sunforger, you're red-white, you've got great removal in this deck. Good option in the deck, you can just unattach, tutor out for a Path to Exile or something, remove a threat. All the swords work really well in the deck, because they've got that keyword Protection, which with efforts can share that protection to the whole team. That's a good thing to go for. You can run any ones you want. My favourite are these 3 here. They're not cheap though, some of the swords. Body of Mind is the cheapest, but I like that it mills. Rare combat decks, no one expects to be milled. It's just a bit of extra pressure from a different angle. Feast and Famine, untap your lands. You can keep paying that Aggravated Assault if you want to. Fire and Ice, mainly here for the draw. But the protection from blue and green, black and white, and red and blue, very key to have in the deck. Helm of the Host. Like I say in every video, bricks every commander it can go into. No different here. Aurelia, multiple copies of her. Multiple mentor, multiple buffs on combat. Even your lieutenants are great options here. Now more of a support role. Gleam of Battle, I've chose this one because whenever the creature attacks, you put a 1/1 counter on it. You could go Auketra Crusade if you want to go more of a token deck, but since this deck's more focused on combat on good quality creatures, this seemed better to me. Gloriful Warfare, Legion's Initiative, they're just like our buffs for our creatures. True Conviction, lifelink and double strike to the team. The lifelink more than double strike, because we have a lot of double strike already. Helps us get a lot of life, keep out of the range of like weird burn, indirect damage kind of decks. Assemble the Legion, if you played with it, you know it's a fun card, you build an army exponentially across the game. Staff of Nin and Skull Clamp, it's really all you get for draw, so, but they work well. Staff of Nin keeps Planeswalkers and Weenies in check. Skull Clamp, if you have a nice Legion going on, you're building all these 1/1 tokens, eat them up, draw a ton of cards. I like Blind Obedience and Thalia to kind of gum up your opponent's plan, slow them down, make it a bit awkward for them. And like always guys, there's probably lots of cards I've missed, but Aurelia is a really cool commander. You can build her different ways. You totally could go an angel theme, you could go like Knights, Warrior Soldiers, go like the full tribal. I've just gone for the Boros Legion. Any creature that fits in Boros works really well. It's a deck that really does care about the mid game. Early you do have a little bit, but mid game's where we shine. We're all about that combat. Hopefully we'll beat other creature decks on the ground. And we have lots of good removal to pick from. Run all your direct removal, your exiles, on all your O-ring styles. Have all of that stuff you can. You've got some good tutors to get out your equipment. The deck is pretty consistent, and I think it's great. Let me know your thoughts on Aurelia. How have you built her? How would you like to build her? What suggestions do you have? Hopefully for the next commander, we'll be covering Emera, I believe it is. The Soul of the Accord. That'll be our next commander. Alright guys, let me know your thoughts down below, and have a good one. See yous. Thanks for watching guys. Please remember to like and sub and click the bell icon for notifications. It's greatly appreciated. And if you have any deck or video ideas, just suggest them down below. And have a good one guys.